Let's take a look at the primary healthcare and educational facilities. Health, we all know, is wealth, and education the bedrock of a nation. The type of environment we grow our children tells a lot on how their behavioral pattern will be. It is disheartening to know that the state of our primary healthcare and educational facilities are in disarray. Since inception, it wasn't meant to be so. Hence, we take a dive in AMAC BWARI Federal Constituency of the FCT, with Honorable Joshua Chinedu Obika drawing the attention of the depletion of the educational facilities being understaffed, making it unbefitting for the Federal Capital Territory, being the major eye of our nation.
My name is Honorable Joshua Chinedu. I represent AMAC BWARI Federal Constituency in Abuja North FCT. For the years past now, our education and health facilities in FCT has grossly been neglected in so many ways. Even though that most of these facilities, mainly the health care facilities that we have in Abuja, were built by the military in the military era. Today, the past civilian administration that has involved in FCT has not done much in putting these facilities in the shape they were supposed to be. It is unthinkable that in FCT today, a state governed by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that the peoples are still studying under the bare floor, that we have the roofs in our primary schools blown off without nobody caring about that we have limited number of teachers to take care of these primary schools, that more than 600 and something children will be taught by just 9 teachers, is something that should be unheard of for a place for us as FCT. FCT should serve as a pace-setter state to other states to emulate from the progress that's supposed to have been made in FCT, but the reverse is the case. And when people see FCT, mostly my colleagues that I work with in the National Assembly, they always tell me that you don't have problem in the federal constituency. That is a constituency that the federal government has done so much for. But in the truth, more than the 22 wards, electoral wards that I have in my federal constituency, it's only about 8 or 9 of them that have good government presence. Even our satellite towns in FCT, their roads are being dilapidated.
He raises concern of the primary health care, which was invested in heavily and later abandoned, leading to vandalization of this facility, all because the attention is to start up new projects instead of continuity of projects that had already commenced. He therefore calls the attention of the presidency and the current minister of the FCT to pay attention to the satellite towns, being that this is where the host of masses are located and it's being neglected.
So I am using this opportunity to let the authorities know and let everyone know the state of the infrastructure that we have in FCT presently. And I'm calling on the federal government, I'm calling on the Mr. President, I'm calling on the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory and well-meaning Nigerians to come together to see that FCT will change from what it is now to the type of FCT that we wish to have. It's quite unfortunate. You know, one of the biggest undoing that we have in this country is that government will invest so much money in a particular project and they have the mind to abandon it at the final stage of it. Shuma 1 was even almost completed and equipped. And after the completion of this primary health care, it was completely abandoned, overgrown with grass. Some of the vital components of the health center vandalized. So it's a painful thing that in a community where there is no hospital near it, with other adjacent villages that needs that health center to be functional. And we can abandon a health center like that when we have local governments that can even intervene since such health center has been established. So this will be an eye-opener to what we are lacking as a people. I'm not here to castigate anyone, but I'm here to call for action. Emergency should be declared on the health and educational facilities in AMAC BWARI Federal Constituency.
He further buttresses on the fact that we need to catch them young. So in order to get it right in the educational sector, we have to start from the primary school. He called the presidency to not leave the funding only for UBEC, but as well the FCT minister should get involved. As a matter of emergency, he declared the attention of the Federal Capital Territory Minister to the state of insecurity, leading to the fact that these facilities are being abandoned and not fully up to date, especially road. He stated that the fact the rural areas do not have accessibility or viable roads is what is leading to the insecurity we face in the Federal Capital Territory.
You can imagine where a 16 classrooms is being abandoned, when the one that is existing is not even up to that number today. And we still have to go to start some new projects when we could not finish the existing one that we have that can go a long way to cater for the problems of lack of classrooms in that community. And that's why I am the representative of the people. And that's why that I am pushing for this, calling for the attention of the minister. Because so many times, those who have been ministers in FCT don't really have time to go around to see for themselves firsthand what is happening in our local communities. And if you come, I don't blame them because they are not elected like us. If today that the minister of FCT went through campaign, go around, he will be able to identify some of these places that have urgent need. And that's why that I'm calling for this action. With this action, he will be able to know that the state of the educational infrastructure, and we are talking about the most important part or section of education, primary education. You cannot build on nothing. If we cannot get it right at the primary school level, we cannot be hoping for miracle to happen after that. So primary education is one of the most important of all educations. And that's why government should pay much attention to it to make sure that it's well funded, not only from the money that UBEC receives, but the FCT authority, knowing that there's a lot of influx of people in FCT as a result of security situations, should know that those facilities by now is overwhelmed. So an emergency should be declared to get things right in those facilities. I know that Rome was not built in a day. Right now, I know the cost of most of the perimeter fencing in these schools. Most of the schools doesn't have a perimeter fence. I have gone through them during the electionary campaign. I have visited most of them. But we are talking about even the school itself. Are we talking about fence when we don't have good roofs? When the children don't have chairs to sit down? When even the boards that the teacher will write there is not available? That is the situation. It's alarming. This is FCT. We should do better. We should do better. And having said this, I am not really putting much of this blame on the present administration in FCT because they just newly come in. But I'm pushing this to call for their action on this. Their action on the level of facility of the infrastructure should be holistic. We should attend to all this at once. We should attend to the primary health cares. We should attend to our hospitals. If you go to some of our major hospitals, the major equipment that is needed for the doctors and the nurses to do their jobs are not there. So this call for an emergency, this should not be treated as a normal thing. There's a call for emergency intervention in these areas, health, education, and roads. Because to go to these communities, you find it difficult to even access them. Their roads, if you go to Igushere Road, it has been abandoned. This road was started during the electioneering time and was abandoned immediately after it. So you will know that the only reason why it was receiving attention as of that time was for political reasons. And this shouldn't be. It's people, human beings like us that lives there. These are the members of our society. We should make sure that we open up our rural communities, the access roads, and all these facilities that are needed for day-to-day running of human lives should be paid attention to. And this is what brings also insecurity in our community. When we don't open up the roads and we don't electrify the communities in those areas, then the hoodlums will see it as a place, as a hideout. But when it's being opened up and the facilities that are in a normal society are found in them, it will help to curb up crime. It will bring the economic viability of in these rural communities. Things will be opened up. So that is what we are talking about. So it's a matter of urgency for our people.
He encourages a stakeholder summit as a matter of urgency to bring about collaboration to the state of how each facilities are, so that adequate attention, monitoring, and following up can be done to make the facilities work.
You can imagine during the electioneering campaign, I went to a village, one of our villages called Igu, in Igu Ward. There I met a school, 5 dilapidated classrooms, 620 kids, and 9 teachers. The day I came to that school, I met only 6 of them, and one of them was even backing a child. Is it possible for a mother to take care of 10 children of her own? You can divide 620 children by 6 teachers. So you are having about almost 100 and something children by a teacher. How is that possible? The future of these 620 pupils are being wasted. They cannot learn under such condition. So this will be a holistic intervention by the federal government, by the FCT ministry, and by the local government. There should be a stakeholders type of a summit to intervene mostly in education and the health infrastructures that we have in our community. You see, it's no right thinking, no good society should allow children, not even children, any human being, any infrastructure to be under a high tension. That shows how much we care about these kids. Are we not having the LEA authorities that knows that this shouldn't be? Are we not having UPEP that knows that this shouldn't be? Are we not having the local council? Are the chairman not meant to be visiting some of these schools? The last time I checked, it is the local government money that is being used to pay the primary school teachers. And if my money as a chairman of a council is used to pay teachers, I will be obligated to make sure that if all works well where my money is being used. So it is a call for duty. Both I myself, both the local government, both the Mandate Secretary for Education, both the Executive Secretary for UBEP, and the Honorable Minister who is the leader of FCT, to come together to profess an urgent solution to this disaster that we have at hand. Because the life of thousands of kids in our different communities are being put, are being wasted if no effort is made to correct these inadequacies in our infrastructure. There is infrastructural deficit in FCT in general. And I want to use this opportunity to thank the Honorable Minister of FCT, who have started well by what he's doing presently, by fast-tracking within the city all the access roads, and also what he's doing about Apo Wasa Road that will be linking Karishi up to ease the traffic congestion along Nyanya route to the city is a very welcomed development. And I want to draw his attention majorly to these rural communities. We need to decongest the city. Our city is congested. And why? Because we have been unable over the years. The last time there was an in-route of development into the communities in FCT was during Nasiru El-Rufai as the Minister of FCT. This time around, we are having a man again who is willing to get the job done. But my emphasis is on our rural community so that we can decongest the city, so that we can take economic growth to our rural communities. By the time the roads are opened up, by the time we have a proper transportation master plan, that we have buses to go in these communities to bring people in and out of the city. By the time we have many of these rural communities electrification projects done, the economic viability of those communities will come up. Things will begin to change. Everyone must not come to town to do his or her business. Businesses can be established at our rural level to ginger economic growth. And the only thing that can make this possible is when we are able to take development to the grassroots.